Okay, it said that LinkedIn is having a problem. Okay. One sec. Okay. So it's not on LinkedIn, but let's go with the rest. So welcome to Strategy and Tea, episode 8. And our guest today is Rana. She's a personal branding expert, a communication strategist, and a course creator. She's going to share with us how personal branding can help online course creators. So let's jump in. Welcome, Rana. Thank you for accepting my invitation. I am so glad to have this conversation today.
Thank you so much for having me, Remy. On the contrary, it's my honor to be here, and I'm really excited that we're going to dive in more about personal brand and the great things about it.
Cool. So let's start with your story. Please tell us about your story and how you got involved in personal branding.
I come from a marketing and communication background, so I'm an ex-corporate person. I've had the luck and the privilege and the hard work to work on the corporate side, be it in ad agencies or on the in multinational companies. And then about in 2010, I decided to take the shift into entrepreneurship. So there's a lot of my current work is very much linked to things that I've personally experienced in my career. And I refocused, or I put my focus more on personal brand because of my experience of how something like that, especially for small business owners or for entrepreneurs, how a personal brand is a very important pillar to the potential of the success of a business. It starts from the core, which is a personal brand. So this was like in short, but it's been a very exciting journey into, being a consultant and, building my podcast and also launching my course, Personal Brand Academy, which is basically to empower entrepreneurs and small business owners to take control of their professional voice and not to shy away from taking control of their marketing, their communication, so that they can have better opportunities, business opportunities.
So this is super nice. Now I would love to know your opinion on how personal branding can help an online course creator.
Well, I strongly believe that a personal brand is really important for almost all kinds of businesses, but it is very much vital for course creators, because when you're a digital course creator, you're basically creating a business based on your credibility as a professional or as an expert in a specific field that you are teaching in. So for you to build that credibility, that means you need to be very aware of taking control of how to build your personal brand. So it becomes more vital for course creators to really start focusing down on building the image, their brand, their credibility, thought leadership in their field, within their industry, so that they can position themselves in a way that they become a no-brainer for people to work with them by purchasing their digital course, Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. I feel that this the differentiation that you gain when you have consciously and strategically working your personal brand is going to help you so much to attract the right students for your courses and your programs.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because what you do is that you are really building your connection with the right target audience. You're showcasing your purpose, your values, and at the same time, you're putting a very clear spotlight on your strengths, which is in your digital course, the strength of how you can take your students or your potential students from point A to point B, which is the desired outcome. The problem is when people don't, especially course creators, when they don't really put a lot of effort to strategically build their personal brand. So they risk a lot. They risk that whether they like it or not, people have an opinion about you. They already can create an image about you, especially in our digital world. We are, most of our businesses digitally, and course creators, their world is online. So if you don't consciously take control of your personal brand, you are basically opening the door for opinions that you cannot really control to be there about you or about your business or about your experience, let's say, or expertise. At the same time, what happens is that your messaging, be it in your marketing, your communication, your PR, whatever it is, it becomes sporadic because there's no focus on what are the key messages that you want to communicate to your target audience. This is very, very important. And the third core thing that also affects when the risk for not building a personal brand is that then your target audience is not focused. So you kind of spread the net really big and very wide, and you land up attracting different levels and different type of people that some of them, don't need your services or will not be interested in being in business with you. So it's a very big risk when we don't really put a very good strategy on consciously building a personal brand. Absolutely.
Yeah, I totally agree on this. I have the feeling that people think that because they don't build their brand or they don't work in their brand, it's not there. But everyone has a perception, even if you are not working on it. So
Yes.
I think that it's better that you do some work around because you want to decide what is the focus of your personal brand. So
Yes.
absolutely agree on that. Now, please talk about the most common myth around personal branding.
Oh my goodness. There's just so many myths,
Why?
that is out there. There's so many. You hear a lot of that. You hear about, I'm on social media. I have a personal brand. That's
Yeah.
that's a very big myth. Or that, if I want to build a personal brand, that means I need a budget. It has to come with big budgets. Advertising has nothing to do with, or it doesn't have always a direct connection to building a personal brand. Another myth that is also very common is that I'm not a person of numbers, so I don't need to go back to data to build a personal brand. So there's just so much out there. I believe the most common one that I see very, very repetitive is that my digital course or my service is for everybody, especially when you have courses that are a little bit wide in terms of topics, like for example, it's not very much niche down, like I am a cooking instructor, so here's a cooking course, when that's really, really wide. You haven't really narrowed down to a kind of cuisine or a kind of style of cooking, or maybe a certain lifestyle of, be it a vegan cooking or not, or meat-based or whatever diet. So just by giving that example, it starts with the core of one of the biggest myths, and that is, I can serve everybody. And I know it's very counterintuitive when you say niche down your target audience. Now, it is especially important in the early stages when you're still, your brand is still very young and very small. Of course, as you grow and as you, your services get more, famous, and people get, your connections are much wider, then you can add on to your target audience, pillar. But the more niche down you are in the beginning, the higher the chances are that, number one, you connect with the audience who will have a higher probability of converting into a client. And at the same time, you have a higher chance of putting whatever your limited budgets are, especially with small business owners. You have limited budgets. So when you're doing marketing and you're very niched on your target audience, your marketing becomes extremely focused. So you actually have you have the greatest value for every dollar that you spend. So yes, it is counterintuitive. You're like, oh, if I just target a small number of people, then I will sell to a very small crowd. When on the contrary, the more you are focused, the more the right people will connect with you. So actually the circle will grow bigger. So I would say that's the most common one, but there's just so many out there. It's really sometimes funny.
And I love that you bring this myth, because I have the feeling that with my customers, this is also one of the objection that they always have. Like, they feel that, yeah, my course is for everyone. As you mentioned, if you are focusing on one specific group of people or helping a specific group of people, you are helping them to make you more memorable for them, make that they really resonate with you because they feel that you understand them better and you know about your topic. So it's easier to be the expert in your field for them, because you are so specific and speaking about their own problems, and they have this they understand that you know what they are going through and all that. So yeah, I love that you bring that.
Absolutely. And I just want to remind everyone who's listening to us today, especially course creators, is that why is this particular point so important? It's because we need to really study our customer's journey, because we need to be very mindful of when we're doing our communication, when we're building our social media strategy, when we're building our publicity strategy, or all of that, we're very mindful of where exactly is our potential customer in their journey. With the fact that we come out and we just talk about specific topics related to our course might not always be the right thing, because you're just focusing on one part of the journey, when the journey is a lot bigger and there's a lot of touch points there. So when you're really clear on who you are talking to, you start actually diving much deeper into where the pain points are. So your messaging becomes very focused on the pain points, and you will also be very aware of their journey. So the touch points of communicating with them, like you will know every single touch point, and then you start knowing which kind of strategy to use for every touch point. So you would know that in that particular phase, I need to lean more into, for example, marketing. In that particular phase, I will have to do more education. So I need to lean into content, my content creation, original content creation, as well as social media strategy. So you will know where exactly to reach them and how to reach them and what language to talk to them and how to touch on the points that will make them think of, okay, I see that Remy, for example, is the person for me. Let me learn more about her. Let me connect with her. Let me ask my questions. Let me see if she gets what I'm going through, so that I can, cross that bridge to be very confident to say, yes, I would like to buy Remy's course, for example.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. This so nice to know the journey of our customers or students, because this is going to help us to build our leader of services and offers. Like because you will know what kind of topics, what kind of trouble they have, and you will find the solution for them. And this is going to help you to ask also to build your own business structure. So
Absolutely.
important to really know your audience. I love that. Now, could you please share with us the biggest objection that you have to address when working with your customers?
The biggest objection, I would say, is that people don't see the importance of building their personal brand, or taking control on building their personal brand. And I know it's a very wide, it's a very big umbrella I'm saying here, but the more I dig down and the more I look at the different scenarios of my different clients, it kind of goes down to the core, and that is, unfortunately, a lot of entrepreneurs think that there is a direct connection between personal brand and social media presence, when personal brand is much bigger than that. So, and because they are uncomfortable and on social media, they think that it's not important for me to build a personal brand. I'm a business owner. I need to just work on my business. But we see that more and more the customers today, or the audience in general, they've kind of transitioned into the importance of connecting with the person or who is behind that business. So the more we personalize the business itself, the more it becomes clear to the target audience that, okay, so this is the person behind that business. These are their values. This is their strengths, their expertise, etc. And I feel confident connecting with that, with that entrepreneur or with that course creator. So I always try to communicate that building a personal brand is much simpler, if I put it like that, simpler than just thinking about social media. It is not as scary as we think it is. It's like, oh my God, I need to expose myself, I need to show myself out there. Yes, there is a lot of elements of showing yourself, but that's the thing. When you take control, you decide, how do you want to show up? How do you want to share your professional voice? And where do you want to share your professional voice, and in which format? So you start, finding the strengths, the comfort, to an extent, a comfort zone, or your strengths in terms of sharing your professional voice, and really start building on that. And as you gain more confidence, you start using different other techniques and tools, and you start adding them up. But it doesn't have to start with, okay, I'm building a personal brand, now I need to be on every single social media platform. Or it's not just that. It has to start with really, really, really being very clear on who you are, what are your values, what do you stand for, and how do you want to share these values and these expertise with the tribe or the community that you're trying to connect with. So once we get that, and it's very clear to us, our mission statement is very clear to us, we have a very clear vision of where do we see ourselves, or where do we want to position ourselves, then it's like building those blocks together. Okay, let's start with this element. I will lean more into this. My strength is this, so I'll use this more. And then, it gets easier and better and smoother with time. So yeah, I would say that that's the biggest objection.
Yeah, I totally agree. I see so many people having this struggle, that they feel that building a personal brand or working in the personal brand is making is they have this confusion about private and personal. So you could be sharing personal stuff, but you don't need to share your private life. You can separate them. And
Yeah,
the good thing is that you are deciding what are you showing and how you are showing it. And the most
yeah,
important part, as you mentioned, the values, because you want to work with people that are aligned with your values. So how
absolutely.
beautiful is that by showing that you are attracting the people that actually you will feel more comfortable working with, and you will be happy to help them. So
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And I just want to touch specifically on the point of, let's say, values or certain core elements that kind of builds the essence of your brand. Um, I'll give an example. Today,
mhm,
if you say Adidas and you say Nike, you're like, oh, okay, they're both sportswear brands, but you and me both understand that when we look at all the different types of communication that or content that is out there, that is published by Nike versus what is published by Adidas, it's so clear what are the values of Nike and what are the values of Adidas. So there's a clear distinction between those two brands who are very, very obvious competition.
mhm,
And because the values are so clear, you have people who are um, um, religious about just being Nike customers or just being Adidas customers. They just know that this particular brand represents them. The way that brand shares its values and shares its mission is so clear that you know that when you wear it, it kind of reflects your values as well, and it also reflects what you want people to see you and how to understand the way you are and the way you think. It's very clear. And this is just a simple example about sportswear. So, and we can go into so many other big brands where, like, for example, Samsung and Apple, there's just so many. And every single example is so clear that the values were very well communicated. So people believe and want and desire to be part of that tribe, which is under that particular brand. So a personal brand is very much similar to a business brand in that sense, in the sense that it kind of gives you, builds your value and builds your credibility as a brand, and does not commoditize you anymore. Because without a personal brand, you just become a commodity. It's just a matter of efficacy and pricing and all of that. You're not different from the rest. It's
mhm,
like, it's exactly the same. You have that with FMCG, for example. You go into a supermarket and it's irrelevant. Some of the brands, of course, it's irrelevant what brand it is, and you're just, you're a price conscious customer. You just pick it up and you just want to leave. It's not, just want to get the job done. So the same thing is with a personal brand. It's similar in the sense that it showcases your value, it positions you as an authority in that field, and it puts you in a position where people are like, oh, I understand this person. Oh, I like the way this person shares their processes or shares the roadmap, or I really like this person's point of view in terms of their opinion in a certain industry thing. I see them as a thought leader. I would like to
mhm,
connect with that person. And that's how you distinguish yourself from, a sea of similarities, because this is what's
mhm,
happening. The world is open. So there's a lot of coaches out there. There's a lot of course creators out there. How can you be different? How can you position yourself in a level where you kind of identify yourself away from the crowd, or at least you find that sweet spot where people just see you different from everybody else.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Since you want to position yourself as the right person to teach them about your topic, this is so important, so crucial. So absolutely agree on that.
absolutely.
Um, so now, when it comes to personal branding, what is your number one recommendation?
That's a very hard one. Oh my goodness. Um, I would say top three because one is
Sure.
so hard. Okay.
Sure.
Just like what Simon Sinek always preaches about, and start with the why.
Mhm.
Yes, you have a course that could be similar to a lot of courses, but your why is always going to be unique to you. So start
Yeah.
with that why. Definitely have a very clear mission. And your mission doesn't have to be something that is like that will change the world. It's something that will make a good change or a reasonable change to your audience. That's
Mhm.
important. So you have a very, very clear mission. And at the same time, you have to really believe that people will want to work with you because of you, that there is that very clear distinction that you have that can position you away from people. And it has to start with you. It starts with the mindset, that a personal brand and so many other things. If you want to do a change in your life, it's a mindset game. And when you think about it, it always has to start from here, that you believe that you have something different in a way that you put it, in the way that you teach, in your personality, in your values. It is different, and that it is very unique to you. So definitely I would put these as, they work very much hand in hand, and it starts with the why and the mindset for sure, hands down.
I love this. And I have this sentence that I always remember, that is embrace your uniqueness, because
Yes,
that's
yes,
the key point. And it's so important that you are showing yourself because you are unique. And that's what at the end will attract the people that you want to teach and you want to help in a way or other. So I love this tip and
yeah.
recommendation.
Yeah. Thank you. That's amazing. I'm happy we're on the same page. Great.
Yeah, that's cool. So, and this because of our values as well. We were following
Absolutely.
each other on Instagram and we were just resonating with each other messages. And
Absolutely.
that's where
Absolutely.
this started. So, this is a proof that the personal brand works. So, now I want to ask you a question that I like to ask all my guests. That is, what is a compliment that you have received from a client that has touched you the most?
Um, honestly, every review I received on my podcast, every testimonial that was given to me means a lot to me. Like every single one. I can't, it's like having, it's like babies. You can't choose one. But there's one of my beautiful, beautiful clients. She said something in a testimonial that she was sending to me that really struck a chord with me. Like it really touched me very, very deeply. She did talk about my expertise, but then she ended it with saying, Rana helped me find my voice, and she did that with so much grace, love, and care.
Oh,
And just these three words, she did that with so much grace, love, and care, was everything to me. And I hope she's listening to this and she's watching this interview. I'm sending her all my love. This particular testimonial meant a lot to me because especially if you are your kind of business is dealing directly, very closely with people. So if you're a course creator, it's exactly the same. Leadership and empathy are not separated. They have to go hand in hand. And I was so I was so touched that she shared that, because that is so much the core of my values and the way I like to do work. I I was a beginner entrepreneur, moving out of the corporate world. Yes, I carry with me years of experience and exposure and expertise. But again, when you're opening a new chapter and you're getting into creating a business on your own, you wear so many hats. You are involved in so many aspects of your business, especially in the early phases. You have mistakes and learnings, like the frequency of the mistakes and the learning is so high, especially in the beginning. So I always have that. It's like a reminder every time I work with a new client. I always remind myself, like, wait a minute, I was there too. I remember that. And especially when you're starting something new, you are so personally and emotionally involved in your business that sometimes you need someone with a bird's eye view to kind of help you maneuver and move around in your business. And I want to do that, and I like to do that, approach my clients and support them with empathy and with compassion. So this particular thing really, really touched me, and I'm very honored that she said that in her note. It's a beautiful thing.
It's so lovely, yeah. And empathy is one of my favorite words, so I totally
Yeah.
love that comment. Yeah. So please tell the audience how they can connect with you and learn more about your project and your podcast and your course.
Well, the easiest way to connect with me is on my website. Over there, you will get to, know about my story, laugh at my mistakes and my story. It's going to be hilarious. And at the same time, get to listen to my podcast or other things that I've put out there. My website is in my name. It's ranamouawad.com. So, please feel free to connect. There's an easy way to connect with me over there. And of course, I'm available on social media. You'll find the contacts on my website. Thank you so much, Remy.
Thank you, Rana, for sharing your expertise with us. And I really appreciate all your tips
Thank
and
you.
insights. Thank you.
Thank you
Before
so
we
much.
go, I would love to invite all of you to join my free community, the Online Course Creator Circle. There you will find strategy, feedback, and accountability for new and aspiring online course creators. So if you want to join, just visit rememancera.com/community. And that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching and see you soon.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye. Bye.